I'm always on the lookout for some new tools that can improve and speed up my workflow in Blender. Some of those tools come as add-ons, some as procedure generators, and others just updates to features that already exist. This week, I discovered some exciting add-ons that may have went under your radar, but can vastly improve your efficiency as a 3D artist. At number 1, we have Inso. This is a totally new add-on that has swept the Blender community by storm. It's an add-on that brings new mesh editing tools and operators to Blender. With this tool, you get a new knife tool that lets you freely cut the mesh anywhere as you want on your model. Instead of the limited knife tool that comes with Blender, it also adds a new way to add edge loops that don't stop when they bump into an endgun, and an edge slide function that you can use to slide edges from one face orientation or plane to another, something that was impossible to do before. Blender could have been one of the best motion graphics tools in the industry, but what it lacks is proper instancing, a proper way to add as many objects into a scene while animating. This is basically the foundation of motion graphics, making things show up and disappear as you want. It's what makes Cinema 4D one of a kind. Thankfully, this new add-on, Shoot It, gives you the extra behavior, going one step ahead and adding passive rigid body simulations into the mix. Making motion graphic animations like this could be faked with a particle system or geometry nodes, but you would not have any collisions or interactions between the different instances or particles. This is what makes this add-on amazing. The Blender add-on community continues to outdo themselves, this time creating a new terrain generator with a new way to add procedure features in a non-destructive way. This add-on uses several brushes, including 127 peaks, 46 slopes, and 40 valleys. These can be placed and blended into the landscape to make unique features. You can also get an erosion system, multiple presets, and a scatter system for adding vegetation cover and rocks. Every scene you make in Blender will need a unique character, and if you are making animations, probably multiple unique characters with a different body shape, different face, height, and more. While making a single character can take days or weeks to make, using a customizable VMesh will make it possible for you to start on your characters with a third of the work already done for you. This is a collection of customizable VMeshes that you can easily customize without ever touching a single vertex. When you are done designing your characters, this add-on, Divine Cut, can help you dress up your characters using their extensive tools that mark the body parts, height, size, and shape to fit a shirt, trouser, or a dress with just a few button presses. The clothes are set up to work with the cloth simulation system so that you can have wrinkles to fit properly to the character. Mastering animation is about mastering timing. To do that, you have to understand your animation curves. The problem is, each character can have tens to hundreds of bones, and each bone can have at least 10 curves if animated, that you will have to manually adjust to get the right timing and feel for your animation. This new add-on, Graph Pilot, is a curve easing tool that helps you adjust your animation timing with ease. You can add different easing functions to your animation by simply selecting the curves you want and choosing a desired function in the add-on panel. Detail is key when it comes to render quality. If you're working on a wet outdoor environment like a forest scene, medieval scene, and more, Moss is a great way to add an extra touch to your renders. This procedure Moss generator can add moss to a selected mesh based on the properties of the mesh like cavity, normal direction, and more. Setting up smoke and fire simulations can be time-consuming. If you want a one-click solution, try this SimFX simulation tool. It's a collection of presets and settings that are going to help you create detailed simulations in no time, from explosions, scattered objects, fluids, and more. The beloved Aged FX Iron that turns a clean scene into a decaying old abandoned place in a few clicks has been updated to a new version. This version now comes with animated bugs and insects to make your abandoned places look more alive. And if you want to go a step further, you can add dust, trash, destroyed cars, objects, and more. This collection is part of the GTrash, a trash instancing add-on that comes with detailed trash models from groceries, metal junk, rocks, abandoned vehicles, and more, all detailed with 4K textures. You might also need a city to go with this. BackScapes is a collection of 3D scanned popular cities that include airports, beaches, cliffs, major factories, swamps, industries, islands, and major cities like Toronto, Tokyo, New York, London, Los Angeles, and more. So now you have a complete suite of tools and assets to turn a clean city into a dusty, old, and decaying environment, from interiors to streets to entire city blocks using AbandonedFX, GTrash, and BackScapes. Since we are on the topic of destroyed and abandoned, you may want to add in a few destroyed buildings into your scene. This procedure destroyed building generator creates buildings with controllable level of damage, so that you can have buildings with minimum damage, completely destroyed, and partially destroyed buildings, all with a procedure setup. If you want a modern clean city instead, you can use the city generator, which can create a detailed city barrel. This is based on geometry nodes, which allows for full customization of building density, building heights, size, and more. You can also simulate traffic with well-modeled cars, streets, and more. If you are working on a sterilized environment, this moss and damage generator can be a great addition to your scene to make your scene pop and stand out. You have control over the damage, moss, and detail on every object in your scene. You can take days making characters from scratch or just use these pre-made models with a working rig, materials, and clothing, like this correction of Lollipop characters. It will save you a lot of time so that you can start working on telling your story in no time. If your render times are getting ridiculous, cut your render time by up to 80% with this add-on. The way this add-on works is, instead of rendering each frame of your animation one by one after the other, you can skip some frames, and RBoost will utilize its frame interpolation techniques to generate additional frames from your existing image sequence, resulting in significant reduction in time spent rendering while still maintaining visual fidelity. This is how you go from a render taking 2 hours to it taking 10 minutes. Speaking of optimizing your renders, if you plan to have an ocean in your scene, you may want to use the physical open waters instead of the ocean modifier, because it produces more detail, better waves, better reflections, and it's optimized to have more subdivisions closer to the camera so that you can see more detail up close. Film cities are fun to render, but let's face it, most stories are set in a post-apocalypse scene. Think Maze Runner, Divergent, or I Am a Legend. This city builder add-on comes with over 100 assets that can work in a post-civilization scene that most stories are about. If you want to have scenes at the street level, you may want to create your own street with different assets, buildings, shops, and more. This city pack comes with it all. These are modular, detailed, and textured for close-up shots. If you're making a post-civilization scene, you may want to show what happened to the world before the apocalypse. That's where add-ons like Chaos, Ultimate Explosion, and Destruction come in. You can create realistic looking explosions with fire, smoke, and debris in just a few clicks with this add-on. Just select which building to destroy and you are set. When your scenes are well detailed, you need to spend some time to detail your characters to match the detail in your environment. This Simply Stitch add-on can help you add intricate detail to your character clothes with wrinkles, stitches, and more, so that even at close-ups, your character still looks interesting. When you put in hours and hours to create a beautiful scene, it's only fair to invest in tools that will bring out that detail and hard work you added into your scene. Light is the key to making a render great. An add-on like Light Wrangler will give you the best chance at getting the best lighting setup for your scene. It comes with different lights, from diffuse lights, light gobos, and more. Lastly, in today's list of amazing add-ons, let's take a look at Grabit, a tool for animators that help you get your characters to grab things like cups, balls, sticks, and more. While this looks like a trivial thing that should be easy to do without an add-on, any experienced Blender animator will just tell you to just get the Grabit add-on instead of fidgeting with parenting that will keep breaking over and over. So those were some new and amazing add-ons that you may have missed. If you want to check them out, all links are going to be in the description. Thank you.